Are you affirming all day, but it just seems like nothing's moving? You're not seeing that shift come in with your person? Your SP actually does pick up on your energy. It's not just your words that have an effect, and they are responding to your robotic affirmations and they're picking up on your energy. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We're talking about your specific person and how they pick up on the energy that you're focusing on and experiencing as you're thinking about them, talking about them, doing your affirmations. What is the end result and what is the reality that you're focusing on with them right now? So we're going to get into all of this today, talking about the energy from you that they are picking up on and mirroring back to you, what that could mean, and why you need to be following certain manifestation techniques. So stay tuned to hear all my thoughts and advice on what this means and what to do about it. So that's what today's video is going to be. Do thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below if you enjoy, if you'd like more of this kind of content. It would mean a lot, and I'd love to engage with you guys, hear your feedback. And if you do have your own personal questions about your SP, please do consider joining the membership, the LOA Coaching Darlings. I'm about to start for the month of August, all the exclusive content. So you want to stay tuned and be able to vote on that, because members actually literally get to pick what they want to see. There's voting for all the content. All the videos are early, 1 day early for every single upload. So this video was also out for members a day early. So yeah, if you do want that extra support, consider that. Or my coaching, everything is on screen or linked below. You can become a client with me as well for one-to-one coaching. And yeah, now let's start the video. When you put in focus on the end result, such as affirmations and robotic affirmations, and you're not putting in any emotion, or there is a negative emotion tied to it, it's what you're going through internally. It doesn't mean that your manifestation won't come in, because as we know, emotions themselves do not manifest. Your mind has to be involved. However, when the emotions aren't in alignment and the way you feel and mentally and physically embody the end result as if it's here right now, if it isn't in alignment, it does actually send a weaker connection, a weaker signal to the quantum realm, to that quantum frequency. You're not tying into the exact end result of that quantum frequency, but the robotic affirming and the amount of repetition you put in is counteracting that. However, that is a case that the signal that you're connecting to and sending out is a little bit weaker with the quantum frequency, because you're not kind of experiencing and aligning your emotional state to that end result. That's just a little extra point. So that's how it ties in with energy necessarily. That's why when you can, the consistency itself should lead into it naturally. The amount of repetition you put in should naturally start to put you into that end result internally. However, the subconscious mind learns through repetition. It's going to resonate in your mind no matter what, because it learns through that consistency. Whatever you repetitively tell it, it learns the same way you might be studying an exam. So it is still taking effect. But if you're not saturating your mind with that end result, if there isn't a lot of repetition or consistency, then it can be a slightly slower result, especially if you have an old story and ties to your specific person. That can play a role in the end results of what you're seeing right now, the amount of movement that you're seeing right now, not experiencing, but visibly seeing. All of it might be slightly slower for your 3D reality, because that old story might be playing a role, but the repetition, the robotic affirming, all your affirmations and your focus and whatever form of repetition you're doing, it can be visualizing. It is taking an effect. It is creating the end result, bringing it in closer and closer to your physical reality. But I guess to analogize it, struggled with that word there. It's all kind of like brushing your teeth. You know, if you're brushing your teeth, but you're not focused on it, you're trying to do 3 other things at the same time, your teeth are still getting brushed. Your teeth are still going to be cleaned. You're still completing the task. It's not, you have to focus on it. You have to look at yourself brushing your teeth. If you brush them, you brush them. Same with robotic affirming and not feeling the emotion. It will build up on its own. And the repetition of that is what is the most important thing. Because let's say you're in a good mood, but you're not aware of your thoughts, or you're in a good mood, but you're complaining, or you've written something negative about your specific person. You know, those two are not the same thing. You can be in a bad mood and loop your affirmations and it's still taking effect. It's still saturating your mind. But if you're in a good mood and not thinking the right way, it's not going to manifest what you want. But however, if you combine the two, with the quantum frequency that you connect to, that quantum reality where you are already with your specific person, it's in existence, you can have it, and you're connecting to it by tying in your emotions as well. So I just wanted to kind of distinguish the difference there, but still say you don't have to feel the emotion. It obviously helps if you can fully internally embody the end result as if it were already here, then it's a big bonus. Even if you have no contact right now, no direct communication, no direct relationship with your specific person, they are still tied into your dominant focus. So that's why that repetition and consistency is such a key element, because they are going to reflect that back to you. They have to mirror reflect back to you, because everyone is you pushed out. Where your focus is, what your assumptions and beliefs are about relationships and that specific person. And if you're still kind of in an uncertain, wobbly place right now, a bit of a emotional roller coaster, shall we say, because the emotions usually imply, if it's negative, anxious, spiraling, it does usually imply there's something that has caused doubt and questioning, and you're still kind of holding on to an old story or fears of something that may happen or that may not happen. Whatever it is, there's something within your thoughts, your assumptions and beliefs deep in the subconscious, maybe to do with fear of not achieving your goal, of your specific person not conforming, not being able to reach that relationship status that you want. But they are going to mirror back your dominant focus. And that's why when you do have that, you're still in that state of uncertainty. You're letting the old story still override your conscious focus of having the self-awareness to say, oh, that's negative. This is the old story. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to think like that. If I do, I'm applying my mental diet, understanding that, recognizing it, building up a daily pattern of being able to flip it around and recognize literally, this is negative. This is the old story. This is not what I don't want, because they are going to reflect back or sense the energy and kind of unconsciously, subconsciously, without realizing, obviously, mirror back uncertainty, inner conflict, just that doubtful state. They're not going to fully conform. It's going to be slightly slower. There's going to be slight delays, take a couple steps forward, one step back. If you are uncertain, how can they fully conform if you're not dominantly focusing on the positive end result? So you just want to be aware of that temporarily, they might be, or they might, have already been slightly slower with conforming because you've done your affirmations, but then maybe the next day you felt triggered, you let your thoughts spiral, or you're still not flipping around or recognizing some really key repetitive negative thoughts. Maybe it's to do with their social media, or, examples could be replaying a negative conversation or argument you had with them. I know that sticks in people's minds because it's natural, but you have to be aware of that. And when it does come up, you do have to target it to the best of your ability. So really start thinking to the best of your ability. I want to say affirming, but you have your set affirmations. You know how to use that. You know how to do that. Try and think repetitively. Try and think as if you're already in the end result. You already have your specific person. You're in the relationship. And that's what they are going to mirror back to you. Your dominant state. They feel it. They connect to it. Your energy is going to align with it naturally. Like I said, you don't have to force the emotion or have to feel the positive emotions, but your energy will pick up on that, because you can't repetitively every day focus on and tell yourself how amazing it is. You have the relationship you want, you have this amazing loving commitment, and not start to feel that as if it's true. It does build up. It comes from persistence and overcoming and jumping over the hurdles in the 3D. Once you start doing that, they do mirror it back to you. Say your affirmations, or just imagine and pretend. You don't have to believe it, that's completely fine, but say your affirmations and think that way from the end result. When I say your specific person, your SP right now as you're watching this, yes, that person, that girl, that guy that you're manifesting that you want to be with, whoever that is, and they come to your mind and you think of them, imagine them, think of them, have those inner thoughts, inner moments, visuals to yourself from the end result. You're already with them. You're already in that end state, that relationship, whatever it may be. You're not trying to reach it. You're literally already at that point. That's how you need to think about it. Imagine it. It's already happened. It's already true. You're a day ahead. You're a couple weeks from now, even a month from now. That's completely fine. Imagine you're guaranteed that end result in the very near future. What's that like right now? Imagine being there right now. Speak and think to yourself from that version. That's the best, easiest way to lift your emotional state, your mental focus, mental energy, connecting and aligning to that, bringing that reality into your physical experience. Think of the types of thoughts that maybe can just be used as a mental diet or just in general to reaffirm it to yourself when you need a reminder, a little boost. Identity-based statements of, basically in the present tense. What do you have now? Who are you now? You're the one who's loved, committed to, desired, pursued, the only one that's wanted by this person. That kind of mindset of just being cherished and high value, the prize, but the prize that's already been won by your specific person. So things along the lines of, I don't chase, I attract, because that's just who I am. That's just what I have. These are just the things I naturally get. I get the commitment. I get the person I want. And also remembering that the imagery you focus on is literally going to activate your reticular activating system, which I talk about in my previous videos of when you focus on something, it becomes your dominant or repetitive focus and just part of your daily thought patterns. You start to notice it. You start to pick up on it. It's shown in your external reality. Your mind, it becomes wired to recognize it, to see that, and you want to apply a positive assumption to it, but the imagery, the repetition, the focus is going to connect to that. So the more you imagine and think about being with your SP, you're going to see couples who align with that. You're going to see things that remind you of it. You're going to see examples from your specific person, and you want to reaffirm in those moments. So it's just a case of your subconscious mind maybe not having been saturated enough yet or convinced yet with the end result. And again, tying it into internally experiencing and imagining as if it's here right now. You don't need the full belief. You don't need to delude yourself against your intellectual logic and rational thinking, but you just imagine and pretend the words and the feelings and the internal state that you incite within yourself. It doesn't need to be completely believable or objectively true to become true in your physical reality. You just kind of need to pretend and start convincing yourself of it. Because if your specific person hasn't shown up yet, it's not that your affirmations aren't working or that you're doing everything wrong. It just hasn't saturated and seeped into the subconscious beliefs yet. But the more you do this, the more you connect to that reality, the faster and stronger it does all come together. So I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed, found it useful, and it was slightly different, slightly rambly video, but what video of mine isn't really, let's be honest. I hope this clarified some things for you guys, streamlined the process a little more. If you did enjoy, do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. It would mean a lot to me, and you guys can definitely benefit from that. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.